Welcome to the presentation using Bits and Bytes to grow DiEM25 at home. Because even though we all try to do a lot of stuff locally, there are also a lot of powerful opportunities to make a difference online or by using the tools that we have only at DiEM25. I often get people saying like, what, you can do this, what, you can do that. Like, I think that the knowledge of these tools is lagging far behind what we actually can do. And this was most recently validated when your party decided to just adopt our platform and the entire way we set up our infrastructure, like one-to-one copy of what we're doing, when they had already signed up a contract with a commercial provider, which turned out didn't deliver even a third of what we have already built. Bits and Bytes. For those who don't know me, my name is Judith Meyer and I'm the IT coordinator for DiEM25, which in practice means that I do a lot of the coding myself. I also review your pull request if you coded something for DiEM25, and I manage a team of volunteers who are helping with all of our servers and various IT issues. So, why this presentation? 80% of local DiEMers are not members of your group. And in some places it's significantly more than 80%. And also, 80% of local anti-Zionist progressives are not members of DiEM25. These are two things that I would really like to change. So, how to do that? And also, as a bonus, for those who are seeing this presentation for a second time now, I've added something about the DiEM AI, which is a really new innovation we have had since the past academy. The first problem, 80% of local DiEMers are not members of your group, and the solution is to make your group visible. The first stop is, of course, your group presentation page. So this, for example, is the Vienna Collective, and for example, here, this little writing where it says DiEM activist in group in Vienna, Austria. You could be writing so, yeah, hello Franz. Or don't take it personally. You don't take it personally, but you could be writing something like, we're a friendly bunch, come meet us, or we're currently working on a campaign to do this or the other. You could be using this text in order to present yourself. The members, obviously the map, upcoming events. You could be putting some of your upcoming events on this group page, and it's actually not even more work. If you add your event to the DiEM calendar, it automatically will appear also for your group, if you said that the group is the organizer. I will say more about the DiEM calendar later because it's really magic. And then the activity. So here, for example, the Vienna Collective was active for the Earth Day Festival, so that shows up in the group's activity. Also, if they had written an article for DiEM25, or any article about Vienna, doesn't have to be about the group activity, but could be about local elections or some grassroots initiative in Vienna and so on, it would be appearing here automatically just by submitting an article to the DiEM website. Down here, for those that scroll far enough, we have some group activities. So that's one way, obviously that's just the most obvious way, the group presentation page. Then we have a group recommendation algorithm on the review members page. So if you are a coordinator for Vienna or for your country, you can go to this page and you see like there's a lot of people that want to join your group, there's a lot of members, but also below here, DiEMers nearby who may be interested. So you can see a few people that haven't yet decided to apply, but this is only a small number of the actual members that could be joining, because here you see 339 invisible people with high privacy settings who could also be invited to the group by using this form. So in DiEM25 we really have to respect everyone's privacy, and that is why we cannot show people if they indicated my visibility is only to the admins, or my visibility is only to group coordinators, or my visibility is public, I want to be in search engines as a DiEM member. Some people are like that, some people are the opposite end of the spectrum. So we have to respect that and not show the details for people who may not have the rights to see it, but also we want to give you the opportunity to contact all of these people and let them decide to join your group. So here, you would basically just follow this link and say, I want to contact everyone who might be interested in my group, which is interpreted as being full DiEM members, who live in Vienna in this case, or where your group is based. For the thematic collectives, it means full DiEM members with an interest in that particular topic. And then you choose Vienna collective or whichever collective, and you can write them an email. This is just it looks like a standard email form, but actually it will be a newsletter going to 339 members that you wouldn't otherwise be able to contact because of high privacy settings. And conversely, just like you as a group coordinator see the people who might be interested, they also see your group. If they go to connect, find a group, then it will recommend, this is the Meyer page, sorry. So here, based on your profile data, we think you might like to join one of these groups, DiEM and Meyer Berlin. Or explore the groups below. So basically in this page and also in various onboarding emails, we already tell them your nearest group is this one, or your thematic interests align with this other group that you haven't yet joined. So we try to make groups findable. So the newsletter, on the Contact Everyone page. Oh, by the way, if you're a complete newbie, you may not know how to find all of these pages. So the idea is you go here to the main page and then you click on Members up there at the top. That's where you get the members area. Or with most of our links go to the members area anyway, if you're asked to vote or asked to fill out the questionnaire or whatever. Talking about the Contact Everyone, which is either through the review members, or if you just want to write a message without being group coordinator, you can still do that. You can still send a newsletter, even if you're just a simple member. You can go here to Contact Everyone, and then say, I want to contact all DiEM members in my area. And the number is always going to be low because it only measures the full members or those who have told us where they're located. But actually, when this newsletter goes out, it goes out to about, I think, 10 times more people usually because of all the newsletter subscribers. So with this option, all the members in my area, you're actually also sending it to everyone who receives the newsletter. And for newsletter subscribers, we often don't know the exact city they live in because they didn't fill that out when they signed up for the newsletter. But we're doing some triaging based on the IP address. If you're regularly reading our newsletter from an IP based in Oslo, then you're going to get messages from your Oslo local collective. Same thing, you just, it looks like a normal email form, it's not complicated like newsletter software, but you can actually send a newsletter this way. And here you have other things, other people you might want to contact, like if you want to contact the coordinators of one of these collectives, or you want to contact the coordinating collective, or you want to contact a work group, or a technical person, or a press office, or whatever, you can just choose this. You don't have to remember all the email addresses for all of these people. And then we have the country forum. So most of you are probably familiar with the look of this forum because on the mobile you see this one as a default, the latest view. But if you go to the categories view, if you're on mobile you need to actually select categories, but then you can go to these different categories to discuss policy, for example, or to this one, the national issues. So if you want to discuss something with everyone in Germany, you can just go to the Germany forum and then write your topic there. And we've made it so that the forum subscription, basically the notifications that you get from the forum are also based on which country you're in and which topics interest you. So if someone writes in a policy discussion group on migration and you indicated that migration is one of your interests, then you're likely to get a notification from the forum. And if someone else is not interested in migration but is interested in tech sovereignty, then they will not get a notification. So we're really trying to keep the noise down and give you a high signal ratio. In the country forum, you can also write about your group. You can say, I would like to found a new group in my country, or I want to reactivate a group. And that's probably a good use of the country forum if you don't have a local group currently, or if the group isn't active, you can just write in the forum. Moving on to problem 2. 80% of local and designers progressive are not members of DiEM25. How to convince them? Well, obviously, Ivana and also Johannes tomorrow will have a lot of ideas for you in terms of things you can do, but I'm the tech person, so I will talk from a technical perspective what you can do. So one thing is the petitions. You can write a petition like this one. It's generally a very, very good way of getting at least newsletter subscribers, sometimes also full members, sign up because of our petition. Because when you sign this and you're not a member, you see a little checkbox saying, I want to receive information, I want to get updates, and that subscribes people to the newsletter. So then if you have an international petition like this one, which had more than 100,000 signatures, that directly translates into several thousand members for DiEM25. And if you have a local petition, like to not cut down trees on Torstrasse or something like that, the signature numbers might be much lower, but everyone will be in your city and likely to join your local collective. Especially if you reach out with a newsletter after that saying, we're working actively on this and would you like to be part of a protest or of a strategy meeting about this campaign? So you can create petitions. We have a whole bunch of them. They're also under participate petitions. You can see all the ones that are not actively ended. Here, for example, is a local petition for Luxembourg. Here's a local petition for Lisbon and so on. And in order to create petition, we're a bit worried about people signing up for DiEM, creating a petition and immediately using it to spam or to get subscribers for some commercial newsletter. So that is why you have to write to the tech team or to the communications team in order to get your petition set up. But you just send us like a Word document with the petition you want to have and we put it online. Then events, picnics, movie nights. Like I said, you can use our calendar for that. And the advantage is that when you have something in the calendar, it also automatically shows up on the DiEM25 front page. Like here you see all of these events. So the DiEM25 front page is fed by the calendar. The movement update is fed by the calendar here. Upcoming events for the next 2 weeks are just basically repackaging the calendar. No editing, nothing. On Telegram, we have this notifications bot that also sends you an update when there's an event in your city. We have the news and latest updates channel, which also tells you when there's a new event, but this one is more for like the international events and new articles. How to actually add a new event. So you go to participate calendar, and you go to add event, or if you previously added events, you can go to my events and just clone one in order to save yourself some time. Especially if you have like weekly or monthly meetings of your local collective, you can just clone the previous one. So you go to add event and you put in your title, and here this event organized by group is where you can ensure that this event will show up on your group's local page. And then I think the rest is pretty obvious: event type, language, who may attend. This is important. So if you choose public, then it will show up on the DiEM25 front page, and anyone who clicks on it will see all the details. But if you click DiEM members, then people will only see that there is an event, the date, time, and title, but they won't be able to click through to see the details. They will be asked to join DiEM25. So this can also be a way to get more members for DiEM25. If you have a particularly interesting speaker at your event and you make it DiEM members only, then people have to become members of DiEM25 in order to see when and where and how and to join. And if you choose group members, then people have to join your local collective in order to see the details of the event. This is very useful if you're having a secret discussion or something, or you just want to convert DiEM members into group members. And another important thing that I want to recommend is here, this part. This is a tiny little checkbox, but it makes a huge difference. Collect signups through DiEM25. This means that on your event page there will be a register button, and when people click it, then you will see a list of people that are registered. And all of these people that register will also get an automatic reminder about your event a reasonable time before, like in the morning for an evening event, or the evening before if it's like a full day event. So that is a way that you can save yourself some trouble. You don't have to manually remind everyone. You have some idea of how many people will be showing up for your event. and you get the list of participants, and you get an interface where you can email all of your participants at once using the same newsletter infrastructure. It's very important to place your event on this map, but you don't have to like zoom in and try to find the place. You can just put your address and then click find. So if you put in an address like this, it will also automatically find it for you. And this is important because all of the events that we have in DiEM25 are associated with a particular geolocation and a radius. So this is the radius. How far may people travel? How far should we advertise this event? For a local event, it's set to 40 kilometers. It could be 240 kilometers if you're having like a regional meetup or within country. But anyway, this is basically the radius. It's calculated based on the point that you see in this map. And that will determine what you see, because if you go to the DiEM calendar, like as a regular member, you go to participate calendar, then the things you will see are basically filtered for you. Because otherwise we would have like 20 events every Friday evening when local collectives tend to meet, and most of them would be irrelevant to you. So here, because I'm based in Berlin, I see mainly Berlin events and then a couple that are bigger, like this Prague assembly. But I don't see the really local weekly meeting of Milano collective. And that's what we need the radius for. But, most social media really hate it when you do automatic posting, so they have cut down on that. Like we used to have automatic posting to Twitter, and it never stopped working because of this kind of restriction. But if you know a way to do it in 2026, then let's do it. Yeah. We are wary of people having discovered that DiEM has this way for simple members to send newsletters and add events to the main website and so on. And we have to make sure that people don't spam it with, here's your latest Amway sales conference. Because of that, we have kind of found a compromise where if you're adding a local event, it is automatically added to the calendar and then removed if it's bad. But if you're trying to add an international or national event, then it has to be approved before it becomes visible. So like an inverse moderation. So if you do that, we always try to approve the events within 24 hours, 48 hours, and especially on the day when the movement update goes out. So, you know, this email that I was talking about with the upcoming events, it goes out every other Monday, and we always look through the unmoderated events to see if we can approve any more events before this goes out, to make sure that your events will be featured. But it does rely on a bit of planning. If you add your event like 3 days before it happens, then it may be a bad timing for this movement update, which only goes out every 2 weeks. So we really try to add your event like 14 days in advance so that it will be picked up in this big newsletter. Events, of course, cost money, so we also have a way for you to collect funds for your events using DiEM25. This is part of crowdfunding. So right now we have these campaigns going on, and if you go to here, request funding for your DiEM25 initiative, you can also request funding for a local event that you're organizing, or if you need anything else within reason. Obviously, DiEM25 is quite poor as an organization, but in case of doubt, we're always able to set up this kind of crowdfunding page for you. You can basically, members can make a donation which will be earmarked for your collective. So if you have like a major event or something and the international level says, maybe we don't have enough funds, let's do a crowdfunding for it, then we can go ahead like that. Social media, local calendars, neighborhood groups, these are obviously very useful, not something that we can directly help you with. So social media, we recommend that you have a local page for your local activities if you have the ability to feed it. Because if you have a page that hasn't been updated since 2019, it might give the wrong impression of your collective being inactive. That is also why we try to set up these pages through our social media coordinator, David or Kinza. At least make them co-admin so that they're able to recover this page if 2 years later you leave the collective and someone else has to take over the social media management. A lot of towns also have local calendars online where you can add your event. Always look for these opportunities. neighborhood groups, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, wherever. You can also post about your group and your activities. And like Ivana already mentioned, you can send your articles to comms@diem25.org. And if we publish an article, we also automatically promote it. About those articles, so we just released an AI to help you with that. So you go to participate, policy work. This has a really nice explanation of how any of our policy is created, but at the top it says search DiEM25 policy program. If you click on that, you go to this new AI powered page where you can type, I'm going to look for something in the DiEM program about, I don't know, trees. And it will give you all of the occasions where our policy papers mention trees or forests or something similar. It's a semantic search across all of our voted policy papers and all member votes. Only the policy ones, not internal organizing principles, these kind of votes. And here you can find those documents and also read the relevant sections, and you can find an AI summary of what we're proposing. Now, as with any AI, take this with a grain of salt, it might still be wrong, but considering that we're feeding our policies directly into the AI and saying, just summarize these papers, it's more reliable than if you ask ChatGPT what the DiEM policy is on something. You're supposed to just put keywords, because it's a semantic matching, but also basically we're trying to protect against people using it to do their Python homework. If you're actually here at this academy, you can approach me. I will give you a particular privilege which will let you type in however much you want, and also use this page, the Write Article page, which generates longer texts. But basically that's a protection against people using AI on our dime. And here the Write Article page and the Write social media pages are useful for local collectives if you have a need for a position on something. Obviously it's AI writing style, it's not particularly good, but it may give you a first draft of something that you want to write. And you can say I'm going to type something. So you just give it a prompt just what happened, because the AI doesn't know what just happened. You can give it even a press release or something. And then you want the article style DiEM position, and you say generate article. And what it will do is it will retrieve our relevant policies from the Green New Deal for Europe, from tax sovereignty, from all of our voted policy papers. And it will generate an article which tries to combine what just happened with what our policy is, what our demands are. So it says, Berlin planted the felled trees is not a modernization, it's a war on the very urban life the city claims to defend. DiEM25 calls on the Berlin Senate, and so on and so on. So it's a combination. It's this kind of way of making ourselves relevant by combining what is happening in the world with our stance on it. What do we demand? If you go to participate and policy work, and you go up here where it says search DiEM25 policy program, then you get at least a document search. And in order to get the right article and right social media, you need to approach me. I will get you the access to that. Because otherwise, people could be misusing it to write their homework or do non-DiEM stuff and build a movement for it. We retrieve the article from the database at the moment. We have a database of all our policy papers. We do a semantic search. We retrieve the most matching articles. We feed that into the AI together with the prompt and then generate based on that. And also we have a style guide that we also feed in, like an ideal article kind of thing, so that the output should be significantly better than if you just ask any AI to do something, but we don't have the means to train our own models or something. Even when you use the right article thing, it pulls in the policy paper, it pulls in the sample article that gives it a style guide, and it uses whatever you wrote in that chat box and then generates something from all three. So don't put anything super sensitive in it. This is really for generating public material. Okay, and last thing on this page is the happening now, which is basically just a way to quickly get an overview of what may be the breaking news. And it's mainly from what people are talking about on Twitter. I know Twitter is not good, but this way you don't have to use Twitter, you just get the information. Like this thing hasn't been reported on any German newspapers as far as I know, but we may want to have a position ready.
You have like these tabs on top.
Right article?
Yeah, like those tabs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have them.
Yes, like I said, you have to come up to me and say, hello, I'm Jose, give me access to this, because we need to protect it against people using it to write their homework. Because every time someone requests something, it actually costs DiEM money. So we want to make sure only the activists using this tool.
How do you qualify?
Everyone in this room is qualified, and everyone you know that needs this access is qualified.
Yeah,
we're just guarding against the person who just signed up 30 minutes ago. And yeah.
So I go back to my collective and then I ask, do you want to, okay.
Send me a list of email addresses, it's fine.
If there's a new page, knowing that there are a few that don't get enough likes and everybody likes their thing to be liked, is there any way we could call on more DiEM members than would maybe be interested in a specific group, but they still are in DiEM, to just like the thing?
You mean like a Facebook page for a new collective or something?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. And you can also talk with comms, the communications department, to just post it from the international page or post it in the DiEM announcements group to get you some extra exposure. We're all here to help you. Yeah?
Is it also possible to get like push notifications? I mean, there's a lot going on the DiEM website, and I'm not always looking at it.
Yep, so. We don't currently have an app. Chuck here will be developing one, but you can get push notifications via either Telegram or Viber. So if you go to your account and you go to alerts settings, and you can activate Telegram notifications for whatever you're interested in, and then you will get messages from this little bot that I had up here, DiEM notifications bot, and it will tell you when there's something happening in your city. Or you can join these groups, like the DiEM news and latest updates. This one also exists in several languages, so you can go to the German group for like German-specific articles and videos being published, and you get like basically a feed of everything that DiEM does. Yeah, so if you want to join it, this is the link t.me/DiEMofficial. You can also approach me. Or should I show this? Yeah, does anyone want to scan it right now? All right. Anyone can schedule an event. Please schedule more events. There is so much happening in the world and in DiEM25, and unfortunately it's still often the case that you have to attend a local meeting and then you learn that, oh, we have this work group on tech. Oh, we have this work group on transparency. We have this work group on this and the other. We're having a campaign going on about this issue, and basically people don't know it unless they figure out where the local meeting is. Sorry, is there a question?
Just a short question about the events. We used to set up the events online, also with the registration. Would it be possible to install a push notification for new registrations for new participants, even without the data, like a daily update? Okay, there are like three more people that registered, because right now, like, you always have to go to the page and log in and check for the registrations without deadline, so it's possible to register even like 5 minutes before the event starts.
Yeah, definitely. Can you send me that as a request to tech@DiEM25.org, because I imagine that I'll get a lot of good ideas at this event and I don't want to forget any.
Yeah, we would find it particularly helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good idea. Now with AI, it's so easy to add features that the biggest issue is knowing which features to add. So please, your suggestions as people who are actively using the site and have tried out various things, you can tell me what is really needed. If you add an event, it will be promoted on the DiEM homepage, like I said. It shows up, all of the events show up there. The members dashboard, so if someone goes just to home here, they see the next relevant events for them here. This is Berlin specific because I'm based in Berlin, but if you were living in Milan, you would see some Milan events right now. Then it gets promoted on the Telegram groups that I just showed you, the Telegram Viber bot that I also showed you, and the movement update. There's this RSVP tool that I also mentioned. It's this little checkbox. Let's go there again. Calendar, add event, and then down here, collect signups to DiEM25. This is where you later get the list of all your participants and the ability to contact them all with one email. We have internal group events. That's basically the same thing. You just go create an event and you say it is who may attend, group members. Then DiEM25 ensures that only group members can see the details of your event. And also all group members, not just if you said it like this, but no matter what you said here, as long as it's organized by a group, all of the group members will get a notification here. Send an automatic notification about the event to all group members, so you can save yourself the work of sending an email. It will just be sent by the DiEM server. And recurring events and cloning events, I'll show you that as well. Give me a second. So recurrence is down here. If you say this is a weekly or monthly event, you can set up like several dates in advance. So you can put them like here. So once you've added one event and you go to the calendar, you can go to My Events. And then you see all kinds of stuff that you organized. And you have this clone button here, which makes it easier to have a new event that is similar to one you organized. Yeah, so I think I've talked enough, and I'd really like to hear from you. What kind of activities have helped you grow your group? What really activates people? Because I think that as leftists, we have this tendency to talk about things that are important to us, and we may not have the same sense of what will interest the broader public, what really brings people to your events. Yeah?
I think what in my experience grew the groups the best was being at protests and also being active, being visible, also making like visible material. Mm-hmm. Social media promotion, something we've been working on in the Netherlands, trying to integrate it within things that we're doing. That really helps. So try to get eyes on what you're doing.
So related to that, if you're going to be at a demonstration, you can put this in the DiEM calendar. The rule for adding to the DiEM calendar is not that you must be the head organizer of an event. It must be that you are present there, visible as DiEM25. So if it's a demonstration, you will have 2 people there with DiEM shirts. You can put that in the calendar. Basically, the calendar is for where the outside world can meet your group. And if you need help with the materials, we also have templates and good graphics for you to use. Don't try to homebrew it, just contact comms, they will help you out. And there's funds for printing flags, printing flyers, printing whatever. Other ideas?
Thank you for the note or remark on being at the protest. Even we don't have to be organizers, or we are not organizers, but in Munich we are in many protests, so it's good to know that we can add it to the calendar. What I think helped us in Munich was to show a presence and saying, hey, you can come and meet us. I remember we organized one time like a get-to-know of DiEM25 local collective, and we were around 25 people or something like that. So that's a really good thing, but I think we were not ready yet. We didn't expect so many people, but, and we were not ready yet to say these are all the things that you can do. So, but as a first step, like showing that you are not only meeting online, that you are really there and ready to welcome people, that helps. Yeah, I also believe we can talk about it later, like what we are planning to do, how to grow our group is to have regular presence meetings about specific groups. Specific topics.
Yeah. So this would be one of the ways that you can use the contact everyone page also, this one, the DiEM messaging center, or if you go to connect, it says contact everyone. And you just choose the first option, all DiEM members in my area, which includes newsletter subscribers. And you can send a message like, we will be at this demonstration, or we are having an informal gathering at a cafe, please meet us. That way you at least reach out to people who are already on our newsletter. But yeah, the problem may be that you get too many people. But it really depends on your city and on your topic.
I don't know if it really worked, but in Barcelona we have, like, it's another tool that we put ourselves, that anytime someone joins the group, the local collective, he also receives an email from the local coordinator, an automatic one with our WhatsApp group and with our tentative schedule for meeting. I know it kind of worked to bring people to the WhatsApp group, but then we never really saw them, but okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to set up a special tool for that. You can just use the groups that exist. So like this one, if you put over here, which channels, Telegram, Slack, and so on, does the group use to communicate? This will not be public information. We'll use it to inform new group members where they can find you. So if you put your WhatsApp group there or your Telegram group there, then people who are not members will not see this. Members will see it, and new members will see it in the first email that they get. Like, welcome to this group, here's how the group communicates. It will automatically be sent out to them. But of course, a personal email is better. We're just trying to do the next best thing for coordinators that don't have so much time to welcome everyone personally. We just make it easier to send them the information they need. And this brings me to the next topic, which is things that you can do for your group. So every group has a private forum. Every group. So if you're like a local collective or something, you have this forum space. Actually, it's linked for everyone from the menu. This is something that we can only do because DiEM software is coded by DiEM25, is to make sure that the menu actually changes depending on which groups you're in, so that if you're a member of the IT evaluation task force, or the coders, or the ex officios, or Berlin collective, or Vienna collective, or whatever, it will show you the relevant links, and only to you, and not to anyone else. And basically, if you go to the workspace link, then you will be in a private forum where only your group members can communicate, and whenever you write something there, a new topic, then all the group members will get a notification, assuming they're allowing the forum notifications. So usually an email, even if they're not online, they will get an email. So it's kind of like a small cousin of a mailing list, if you want to use it like that. And then if I go to, I don't know, Meta Berlin, every group will also get a knowledge wiki. So this is something that Berlin did very well. They really set up this knowledge wiki with all the useful links and communication channels and information. This is also something that every group has. All of you have like a pinned post at the top which says knowledge wiki, where all the group members can edit this and keep the information up to date about what is happening. We have the ability to do polls also within the forum. You can set up a poll. For the questionnaires, we have a different tool, which is a part of the Connect here, create questionnaires. If you ever think that you might want to have a Slack because your team is getting very active and you're organizing a big event or a campaign or something, then you can use this page, organize.diem25.org, which is like Slack. If your group is less active, I don't recommend it, because some people will not check it, and in any case, it's like one more thing that people have to check. It's better to stay with the traditional tools, but if your group is active enough to warrant a Slack, or if like a subgroup, a working team needs a Slack, then you can use this instead, and it's hosted by DiEM25, and your communication will be secure. We also have the cloud, which is for sharing files, please, nothing illegal, sharing files and editing documents together, kind of like Google Docs. So you can use the cloud, diem25.org, instead of Google Docs. You can use the DiEM questionnaires instead of Google Forms. You can set up petitions, you can set up crowdfunding, already mentioned. That's basically my presentation.